Hey guys, the title of this video is I thought I was a good artist until this happened. Let me tell you, stay tuned to the end because we're about to get into it here. Alright, this is a live stream video. Welcome to the art studio. Welcome all artists, non-artists, anybody who's creative people or likes anything about art. I just want to share my experience of something that happened to me, and maybe it'll help you out or maybe make you second guess yourself, because it happened to me. So here we go. I'm a cartoonist, caricature artist, occasional painter of weird things. That being said, a lot of my work is caricature based, and I had an event to do. It was a wedding. And so being a caricature artist, I do a lot of this at home. But when you get out into the public, there's a lot of distractions. A lot of things can change. What you thought you did here in your quiet, comfortable studio. I got a fan going. I got the door open. It's summertime. It's nice. But when you get out there drawing caricatures at a wedding, this goes out to caricature artists, or it could go out to anybody. There's a weird thing that happened to me, and I'm glad it happened. When you go to a wedding and you have your suit on, and you got to draw these caricatures in that suit and tie, and there's the DJ speaker blaring in my head. I'm used to all this. This is nothing new, but it's easy for me to get distracted, and it's hard to stay on target when you're looking at those faces and having the gift of gab, talking to people at the same time while their expression is changing 37 different times. You got to take it all in and give them the caricature, the best caricature you can do, and that's what I try. I try each event to be better than the last one. So I'm going to get into why my art sucked. I thought I was better than I was. Okay, and I'm going to talk to you about how I realized that my art sucked. And I'm so glad it happened, because it made me come back to the drawing board. So here's what happened. This happened about, just for context, like it was over the winter. It wasn't last winter. It was, I believe, the winter before last. So 2 years ago. It was right after the pandemic, and there was a wedding going on. So in the middle of December, I think it was January or February. I don't know, maybe December. I know there was snow on the ground. So I got booked for a wedding. All right. And I go. And I show up. And I put on my suit and everything. And I go. And I show up, and I had a little trouble finding the host, or I don't know if it was the bride. I think it was the sister who was the maid of honor. Usually, there's a party planner or an event planner at weddings who kind of get you situated once you arrive. So I had trouble finding her. Nobody knew where she was, and I was like, all right, whatever. And I've been at this event space before. It was nothing new, so I just kind of went into the general bar, cocktail lounge area, and I set up. And then the bride came out, everybody came out. I said, yeah, this is great. This is where you're supposed to be. So then what happened is, I turn around. There's a friend of mine, another caricature artist. Now it gets interesting. I'm like, hi, let's just call him Joe. Leave names out of it. Joe is an amazing, awesome caricature artist who's been doing it way longer than I have. And I want to give his name so bad, but I don't think he wants to be on video. Let's just say his name begins with an R, letter R. Okay, we'll leave it at that. So Joe and me are there, and I said, Joe, what are you doing here? He goes, they booked me to draw caricatures. I said, they booked me to draw caricatures too. And it wasn't like a large wedding. So we were kind of like, do they want both of us here, or did they double book? And then the bride came out. Oh, good, good, good. You're both here. I want you over here in the cocktail hour, and I had an alarm going off. I want you over here in the cocktail hour, and then I want you over here, on the other side of the room, by the bar. Okay, great. So then, but we wound up working right next to each other, and so people could come to us and get their caricature drawn. So let's say his name is Joe. Joe has been doing it way longer than me. Joe has given me lots of tips. Unfortunately, me, Mr. Mark, was not practiced up like I should be because it was winter time, and I'm not giving up any excuses. I didn't have my chops up like I do in the spring, summer, and fall, like where I'm doing gigs. Because caricature is like a muscle. If you stop using it, you kind of lose it. But you can get back into the groove, but for me, it takes a little bit. So me and the other caricature artists were working side by side, and his work ruined mine. They all went to both of us, but I could tell his work, they were really liking what he was doing. Now, granted, I was faster. I've always prized myself on my speed, and I had a gig today, which I just got back from, where they couldn't believe how fast I was. But I'm going to talk about speed in a minute. Anyway, this other caricature artist said, "Mark, don't worry about it." He goes, I've been doing this over 25 years. He goes, "This is all I do. This is my full-time thing." He goes, "Mark, you have a full-time job, and you do this as a hobby, which is great." And I was like, thank you, Joe." But I went home from that gig saying, man, my work sucks compared to his. And I went to his website, I went to his social media and looked at it. I'm like, wow, this is awesome. I'd love to be that good. And so I've been working on it. Fast forward, I've been working hard at it the last 2 years, hitting it. And I ran into another caricature artist at a big event we were doing up in Saratoga. And he came up to me and he goes, "Mark, I got to tell you, I've been looking at your work. It's gotten better." I'm like, "Really?" I said, "Thank you." I said, "I've been really working hard at it." He goes, "Yeah, I could tell." That made my day. That made my season. I was so happy to hear that. And when I heard that, I'm like, it's working. People are noticing. Now, the average caricature event guest may not notice it. They're just happy to get a caricature. But I knew where my work was suffering in likeness. And I had to look at a lot of Tom Richmond's work, reread a lot of books, and learn how to see again. And say, okay, I know what I need to work on. And I've been working on it, and it's been showing. And this other caricature artist gave me some advice. He goes, "Mark, I go for quality over quantity." So he went for quality over quantity, meaning great, solid caricatures. And you're going to sacrifice a little speed for it. The speed will come, but you're not going to bang out as many caricatures, like 5-minute caricatures. Ain't happened. Maybe 7, 8, 9-minute caricatures per person. And I do that now. I've slowed down, and I draw less lines. I make it more simple, but I feel my likeness is on point. Now, that's when I realized my art sucked, is when I worked next to the other caricature artist who was really good. And he wasn't doing it to prove anything to me. But I learned something from that night, and I'm glad he was there. And I'm glad I learned that my work kind of sucks in the wintertime, because we don't do a lot. A lot of the gigs dry up here in upstate New York. They dry up in the winter. They just do. You have the occasional Christmas party, whatever, New Year's party, but that's that. And I'm glad that happened to me. Let's take a hydration break here. And I'm going to talk about my gig today that I just got back from, and what I learned from today's gig. Stand by. I love this thermos. I had this at my gig a couple hours ago. It's still ice cold. It's metal. I need a drink. It's like 92 here in upstate New York. No air conditioning. I just got a little fan blowing on me over here. And the heat. That reminds me of my gig today. I want to give you a bonus section. You ready? Here's my bonus section. on the life of a caricature artist. Granted, I do it as a hobby, but I give it my all. I really do. So today's gig was outdoors, 90 plus degrees, for a big, I don't want to say what it was, but this is what I ran into today. I was going along good, started out, and I have a great, I don't even have it, I'll show you. I bought one of those collapsible wagons, like accordion wagons with big plastic wheels on it and a stick to pull it, a handle. And it folds up like this, but then it unfolds like this, and it's like this deep, very deep. I put this in there, this folds up, put that in there, my paper, my backpack, my water, and my signage. It all fits in there. And thank God I brought that today, because where I parked my car to where they had me, it was a 3-minute walk with that stuff. And if I were to go like this and carry it on my shoulders, I would have been done. So I get under a big white canvas tent. There's no breeze, okay? There is no breeze, whatsoever. So they're like, thank you, Mark. Thanks for coming here. There's 250 guests here. So I did the gig. I saw a fan that wasn't being used. Thank you for the thumbs up. Thank you for watching live. And I said, can I set up over there? They're like, yeah, sure. It was right near the DJ. So I sacrificed being cool by a fan, but a DJ's speaker blaring in this ear while I draw people. So that was me today, and I can't hear people when they're talking to me. I try to give, I talk to them. I say, how you doing? Where you from? You ever had a drawing done before? While the speaker and the DJ. So this is what you're going to run into. And the heat was an issue for me. I'm not afraid of the heat. It doesn't bother me, but it bothered me in the sense that this one guy threw me off. And I was a little off my game after that. And but not, he didn't notice. And the other people didn't notice. They were raving about the caricatures. They were showing everybody. And they're going to have me again next year. But I knew. Here's what happened. You ready? This is what I ran into. I don't want to call him the drunk. He wasn't drunk, but he was just... The guy comes over. I knew he was going to be a problem. I was eyeballing this guy. You caricature artists know when you do these events, you eyeball these people, and you know who's going to be a problem when they sit in your chair. All right? I'm giving you this as a bonus section to what I just spoke about. So this is the bonus section. He sits down. I'm like, "Yay, how you doing?" He goes, a big hat on, and I had to draw the hat. He wanted the peace sign. I said, "Okay, put your hand down. I can do a peace sign." Okay. Oh, now he's getting up, and he has a tray of drinks and wine and beer, and he's handing it to his daughters or his sister. I don't know what it, guys. I don't know. And this is their company party, so this is their time to let loose, and I get it. And he's like, yeah. I'm like, sir, I need you to sit. So he's turning like this. Then he's standing up again. I'm like, sir, I got to see your face. They're like, sit down. He's got to draw you. So this is what you're going to run into. And then he goes, oh, wait a minute. He pulls out his employee recognition award. He goes, I want this award in there. My 15-year anniversary. I'm like, I already drew like the body, the head, and the shoulders. And it just threw me off because he wanted the peace sign and then the award. So I got to learn to slow down and take charge. Crowd management. I learned this from my magician days. Crowd management. You got to manage that crowd. You got to manage your model, your guest. So I slipped up a little in the crowd management, and he threw me off, and I was just hot. And my time was ending. I had 15 minutes left, and I still have a line, and I'm knocking these out. And then at the end of the day, at the end of the gig, we squared up with the event host, and she's like, you had a line of people. You knocked all these people out. That was great. I'm like, oh, I did? I said, thank you. I said, I can't even tell how fast I'm going sometimes. She goes, people were showing us after you got them done, and they were great. So that was the bonus section for today. So to wrap up, I thought I was a good artist until this happened. Until I worked next to another caricature artist at an event about 1.5 to 2 years ago. And he put me in my place. Not on purpose. He's a very nice guy. Teaches me everything. But I learned, oh boy, I gotta be better. I gotta come back to the drawing board. And I did. And thank God that happened. And I hope this happens to you if you're a caricature artist, an event artist, or if you draw in public or you paint in public. This is going to happen to you. Not a lot of people, there's not a lot of art forms where you're painting and drawing in public and you're being judged other than caricature, maybe murals, maybe, I don't know, graffiti, I don't know. But it's a weird niche I'm in, and I'm glad to do it, and I learned from it a while back that I thought I was better than I was, and I learned that I wasn't, and I learned what to work on, and I learned from today. From today's gig, the bonus section is crowd management. Got to manage that crowd. If I took charge of that guy and I told him, you got to sit down or I can't draw you, I said, you got to sit still. You know, he was worse than a kid. Changing things, peace sign. Then he wanted the award. So get ready, guys. If you want to be a caricature artist, this is stuff you're going to run into. All right, that's the video. That's the rant. I want to thank you for sticking through to the end of this live stream. I can see there's a few people in here. Drop a comment in. Drop a comment in on the replay. Thank you. I'm not entitled for you to sit here and watch this, but I am thankful you're watching this. I really am. And if you want a caricature, I can do it for you. Here's the plug. Visit the website, wackycaricatures.com. Wackycaricatures.com. Send me your photos. I'll draw you, and I'll send it to you in the mail. I'm not a digital artist. I don't draw on computers. I get it in a flat envelope, and I mail it to your front door. How do you like that? All right. Give me a like and a subscribe if you want. Click the link in the description for my website and all the other good stuff. And I got to get back to the drawing board because each event I do, I learn more and more. So I just wanted to share that with you. And have a great weekend. It's a Friday night. I want you to have an awesome weekend. And remember, in cartooning, anything is possible.